The Heroes and the Hidden by Kitty Cat on AO3. Episode 17. Chapter 17. Better Never Count Me Out. Kayama fiddles with her paper that still needs to be filled out. She can't focus on the minor convenience store she had just stopped a robbery at. Her mind kept going back to Izuku and his friends. When Naomasa reached out to her about what had happened the day after they visited, she was heartbroken. She was trained to see the signs that a runaway or potentially violent child might show. But Toga didn't show any of those traits. She was a 10-year-old child, full of life and energy. Kayama should have seen the signs. Her job was to see the signs. She had failed. She had failed a little girl. Toga's hair was heavily matted. That should have tipped her off to investigate. But she hadn't thought that maybe the girl just didn't like brushing her hair. No lice was eating at her scalp, so it didn't concern Kayama too much. It should have. Was there something in Toga's eyes she should have seen? Too much life? Too much energy? Was it a mask? Kayama should have seen it. She groans, putting her head down on her desk, exhausted. It had been 8 months since the incident. The case was only open due to Tsukauchi's determination that it stayed open. The Hero Commission had only sent 2 heroes in total to look out for the girl. She deserved so many more. Still can't focus. Shouta asked, walking into her bedroom and shutting the door. He placed her coffee on the desk, taking his, with him, to his designated chair. Kayama sighed, picking up the steaming coffee and taking a sip. No. I know I should focus on my case, but I just can't. That poor girl is out there all alone. She leans back into her chair, groaning. I just want to help. She draws out the word, practically whining. The Safety Commission still has yet to put her on many cases, too upset with the scandal she caused debuting. It wasn't her fault that they didn't like her original costume. Shouta sighed, rubbing at his eyes. He was still in his hero costume, if you could even call it that, from the night before. He probably hadn't slept much, judging by the bags under his eyes. Why don't you just go out looking? He asked, leaning back and shutting his eyes. She scoffs, throwing a book at him. You can't just come into my apartment to sleep. Plus, you know the Safety Commission would be all up in my perky ass if I did anything they didn't like. Shouta chuckles, throwing the book back at her. I wouldn't exactly call it perky. Maybe droopy would be a better word choice. Kayama gasped, offended, pouting. It is not droopy. My body is amazing. You're just too helplessly in love with Hizashi to see it. She giggles as his eyes flare red and his hair rises from his quirk. Don't deny it. Shouta glares at her, before taking another sip of his coffee. Anyways, who cares what the commission thinks? They won't notice you out of all the other heroes they have to deal with. You aren't even top 100. Kayama screams, jumping up from her chair, racing towards Shouta, body slamming into him. He shoves her off, smiling. She smacks him upside the head, crossing her arms. You know, I'm not covert enough to do things on the down low. Shouta nods as if this was a fact, making Kayama laugh again. Why don't you do it? No one pays attention to you anyways. Shouta grins, shutting his eyes again. Why should I help you? You don't deserve my presence. Kayama smirks, shifting her weight. I'll set you and Hizashi up on a date. She bargains. A real one, not just another stakeout like last time. Shouta side-eyed her, shaking his head. Not going to happen. I could figure out my own love life. Please? She begs, giving him puppy dog eyes. Do it for the little girl lost in the streets. Shouta sighs, pushing his hair out of his face and downing the rest of his coffee. Fine. For the little girl, not for you. Kayama claps excitedly, grabbing her keys from her desk. All of my information is at my office. Come on. She calls, pushing him up from his chair. Get dressed first. And more than just underwear. Shouta responds, dead weighting himself to flop back onto his chair. Kayama scoffs before heading to her bathroom and throwing on some casual clothes. She regrettably puts a bra on as well before heading back out. There, I'm dressed. Let's go. She calls, opening the front door. Shouta sighs, grabbing Kayama's coffee and downing that as well. I expect that proper date with Hizashi. Hitoshi groans, throwing herself onto her bed and making Izuku jump. There was never anything to do at home anymore. When Toga was here, they were piled by chores and chores to do. But after she left, the Hondas took to ignoring them instead of ordering them around. They didn't even make them food anymore. The room was a dead zone. Why does school have to be so exhausting? Mitoshi asked, scratching at the skin around her mask. Why do they need to give us so much work? Izuku nods, considering the question. It's so dumbasses like you can actually get smarter. He finally answers, matter-of-factly. Mitoshi scoffs, smacking at him lightly. Sorry, not all of us can be smart butts like you. Mitoshi responds, grinning. All I'm saying is a little less work wouldn't hurt anyone. Izuku throws the textbook he was studying at Mitoshi's head. She dodged it barely, looking at him betrayed. If you actually studied, it wouldn't take you as long. He taunted her, sticking out his tongue at the same time. She went to grab at him, but he darted off the bed and up to the top. Mitoshi's bed, usually to be at the top, and Izuku's the bottom. But after Toga left, they both just kept to sleeping on the bottom, so they could keep each other safe. Do you want your present now or later? Izuku asked, sticking his head over the railings. Mitoshi stared up at him confused. What present? She asked before he swung from the top bunk, landing next to her less than gracefully. Your birthday present, idiot! He said, holding out a crumbled cardboard box with a trash bag bow sticking from the top. It wasn't very pretty, but to Mitoshi, it was the prettiest thing she had ever gotten. She squealed, grabbing it from his hand. I haven't gotten a present from anyone but Himiko for years. She always managed to find knives for me, somehow. Mitoshi sighs quickly, before looking up at Izuku. Can I open it now? Izuku nodded, watching with wide eyes as she tore open the box, throwing the lid to the side. Placed neatly inside the box were assortments of different things. It was a chaotic, organized mess, just like Izuku. One at a time, he said, clapping happily. The first thing she pulled from the box was a set of Eraserhead pins that they had seen walking home a few times. Ever since Izuku had talked about Eraserhead, he was Mitoshi's favorite hero, fighting practically without a quirk, and the way no one ever saw him. Mitoshi smiled widely, looking at them carefully. Keep going, Izuku called. Mitoshi smiled, pulling out the rest as fast as she could to satisfy Izuku's small attention span. A large Eraserhead hoodie was next, the goggles printed on it, the only indication that it belonged to a hero. A notebook with the common bad words in ASL sat underneath it. A series of hero face masks sat under that to add to Mitoshi's collection. 2 Pokemon cards sat in the bag with stickers, iron-on patches, and a stick of bubblegum. On the very bottom was a knife with a note attached. Mitoshi grabbed it hesitantly, opening it slowly before tears starting pouring down her face. Dear Mitoshi, I'm sorry I couldn't be there for your birthday today. I made some bad choices, and I had to leave you and Izuku. It was an accident that day, but I don't regret it. I'm able to run and feel the wind on my face out here. I'm safe. I love you and Izuku so much. Please be here for me. Maybe we'll see each other in the future. Love, Himiko Toga. Shouta shifted his weight to the other foot, crouching low onto the floor top. He had been waiting for a few nights at this location, hoping to see a glimpse of blonde hair from below. Kayama claimed this was the house of the young girl and her friends, so it would make sense she would stop back. But 3 nights had passed, and no indication of the girl. He could make out 2 young kids inside the upper bedroom that Kayami said was hers, but no blonde girl. For being so young, she sure knew how to evade detection. So when Shouta heard footsteps near him on the roof, he crept further into the shadows, pulling his scarf tight. A young form emerged from across the roof, blonde messy space buns hidden in a black hoodie. She wore a school uniform skirt and pink sneakers decorated with unicorns and cats. It was Toga. Shouta pulled his scarf tighter, preparing to show himself to the young girl, when he heard her sniffling. He froze, watching as she perched at the edge of the roof, watching the 2 kids in the window. She rubbed at her eyes, leaning back to look at the sky. "It's Mitoshi's birthday today," she murmured, turning to stare directly at Shouta. He freezes before stepping forward into the moonlight slowly. She looks away from him, back to the window. "You can't take me in, Eraserhead." He shakes his head, walking closer to her, before sitting beside her. She's so young. Too young to be by herself. "Why not? You need people to protect you." She shakes her head, turning to look at him again. Her eyes glisten in the moonlight. "I can care for myself. I'm finally free to be myself, Aizawa." How the hell does she know his name? He stiffens, grabbing at his capture weapon defensively. "You're a child," he says, matter-of-factly. She laughs, an odd little giggle for the kid dressed in black on a roof. "Don't worry. My friends are fanboys, both of them." She gestures to the kids in the room who are both crying and now holding a knife. Why do they have a knife? "Why don't you want to be there with them?" Shouta asks, looking at the young girl who has tears streaming past the scars that dot her cheeks. "I can't. I'm a villain," she murmurs, clenching her fist tightly. Shouta shakes his head, looking back at the 2 kids in the window. "You're a child. No child is a villain." "Thank you for caring, Shouta Aizawa," Toga whispers. "Let me take you in," Shouta says, turning back to the girl sitting beside her. But she's not there anymore. All that is left in the spot is 4 small letters with a spider lily sitting on top of the pile. Shouta sighs, picking up the letters carefully and examining the names that cover them. Izuku, Nomuri Kayami, Tsukauchi Naomasa, and Aizawa Shouta. He sets the others beside him, opening his letter slowly. All that was written is 2 sentences. "Thank you for being a hero to those hidden. You're one of the true heroes." Attached is an Eraserhead pin, his goggles, and scarf bold against the black background. He pins it to his shirt, grabs the other 3 letters, and the flowers, and stands up to face the night. That kid needed to be saved. A knock on the downstairs door causes Izuku to run to the window, hoping to see if he could see who it was. A black, sleek car sits outside, making him squeal. Tsukauchi wasn't supposed to come for a few more weeks. He ran to Mitoshi, shaking her awake from her nap. She reached over to him to punch him, but he ducked, hitting her with a pillow instead. She shot up, grabbing for the pillow but failing miserably, rolling off the bed. "What do you want?" Shinsou asks, diving for Izuku's ankles, and pulls him to the floor. "Tsukauchi's here!" He shouts as he rolls over, tussling with Shinsou. She freezes, making him tilt his head in confusion. She suddenly jumps up, running to the door and locking it. "What are you doing?" "My muzzle, Izuku." She signs quickly, running to the window and looking out horrified. Izuku freezes. He had gotten so used to the muzzle that he didn't even realize it. They usually had it removed when Tsukauchi came over, but this wasn't on the monthly schedule. "Shit," Izuku says, running to the drawer, throwing it open, searching for something he could use to take the muzzle off. Sorting through the face mask and food stored in here, he finally grabbed a knife from the bottom, turning to Shinsou frantic. Shinsou freezes when he sees the knife, shaking her head. "It won't work." She signs quickly, taking a step back. "We've been practicing. It will work this time," he says, grabbing the handle tightly. We need it to work right now. Shinsou stares at him scared, before nodding slowly. I trust you. She signs, slowly towards him, shifting her eyes tightly as he brings the knife up to the metal screws at the side of the mask. They could hear the adults talking downstairs, praying that they'll take a while. The Hondas wouldn't let them up. They know Shinsou has her muzzle on. Shinsou breathes heavily, trying her hardest to stay still as Izuku works on the screws quickly, his tongue sticking out of his mouth in concentration. Come on, come on. The stairs creak under someone's weight, making Izuku curse. He turns the knife slowly, finally managing to get the screw loose. He drops the knife into the drawer, grabbing the screw with his fingers, twisting it as fast as he could. The door handle jangled. Izuku? Tsukauchi called, concerned. Hold on, he shouts back, pulling the screw out. I'm getting dressed. He curses silently again, seeing the next part of the muzzle, the bit still tight on Shinsou's tongue. It was a different screw on the inside. He turns back to the drawer, trying to find something else to use. The knife was too big. Shinsou hisses in pain, making Izuku look back, horrified. She had ripped the bit off, causing her tongue to bleed profusely, dribbling onto her chin, and dribbling off the mask itself. She shoved the piece of metal into the drawer and grabbed a black face mask, turning the other at Izuku, who hurriedly put it on, still staring at her. She gave a thumbs up, swallowing the blood that had pooled in her mouth. Izuku? Everything okay in there? Midnight called, knocking on the door. Izuku raised over, ripping the door open, and staring up at the adults. Tsukauchi looked at them confused before Izuku slammed into his legs. What are you guys doing here? He asked, through heavy breaths. Shinsou waves slightly, swallowing again. Tsukauchi laughs, picking up Izuku and carrying him over to their bed, dunking under the top bunk. Why, I'm here for your birthday, kiddo. Midnight walks in as well, sitting beside Izuku and Tsukauchi, offering the spot next to hers to Shinsou, who smiles and sits down. Happy birthday to you too, Shinsou. She smiles, tussling her hair. We have a present for the both of you kids. She pulls out 2 neatly wrapped presents in bright-colored paper. She hands the green one to Izuku and the purple one to Shinsou, smiling widely. We also bought cupcakes for you, Tsukauchi says, grabbing a plastic container filled with a dozen cupcakes he must have left on the nightstand. Izuku shares a look with Shinsou, who simply swallows again. Which do we want first? I'm not really hungry, so I say presents, Izuku declares, reaching for the presents that Midnight clutches. Tsukauchi chuckles, reaching around Izuku, and setting the cupcakes on the nightstand. Let's open your presents then. Izuku nods, staring at Shinsou across the bed, who nods in response. In Izuku's box were more notebooks and a Midnight Pro Hero pen. She grins as he flips through the notebooks, staring up at them in surprise. My mama is the only one who got me notebooks, he murmured, looking back down at the gift. Tsukauchi and Midnight share a look, concerned. Thank you so much. Izuku grins, writing his name on the cover. Shinsou pulls out a book on hand-to-hand fighting by the hero Gunhead. Tsukauchi grins at him. That one was my idea. I remember you mentioning wanting to be a hero like Eraserhead, so this book might help you. Midnight scoffed, knocking into Tsukauchi. Awful gift for a 9-year-old. I would have done a better job picking out her gift. Shinsou grins, shaking her head and swallowing again. It's amazing, thank you, she signs, flipping through the book slowly. Tsukauchi grins at Midnight, mouthing in, I told you so. She simply rolls her eyes, flopping back onto the bed. You know, kid, she says, pushing herself up to her elbows. I'm good friends with Eraserhead. I can have him meet you. Shinsou looks up at her, shocked. Her mask moves up and down as she thinks of what to say, before closing it quickly again, swallowing. Would you do that for me? Shinsou asks slowly. Izuku grins at them, hugging his notebook to his chest, leaning into Tsukauchi. Course, kid, she says, pushing herself up to ruffle her hair. I'm sure he'd love to meet a fan. He doesn't get very many. Shinsou nods eagerly, pulling away from Midnight slowly. She gets the hint, pulling her hand into her lap. Now, who wants those cupcakes? Tsukauchi asks, reaching for the container and opening it. Izuku shoots forward, going to grab one, but shoves the entire box to the floor, face down. Tsukauchi frowns, pushing Izuku back, who stares at him wide-eyed. Instead of yelling, Tsukauchi simply places a hand on Izuku, tapping it slowly. It's okay, kid. They're just cupcakes. He gets down from the bed onto the floor and starts to pick them up, putting them back into the container. Shinsou signs at Izuku across the bed. Thank you. Izuku nods, before helping Tsukauchi pick up the colorful cupcakes. Neither kid notices Midnight's worry frown at their message. Hey, Izuku. Shinsou signs lazily, almost murmuring it. Izuku responds from beside Shinsou, watching her hands, acutely, trying to keep his eyes open. What if... She starts to sign before stopping. She sighs, signing again. What if I don't feel like a girl? Izuku looks up at her face, humming slightly. I don't think it matters. You're still you. Shinsou nods slowly, holding her breath. But what if I wanted to be a boy? She asked, looking away from Izuku. Do you want to be a boy like me? He questioned slowly. Do you want me to call you a boy? Shinsou is still for a few minutes before nodding. I think I would like that. Izuku smiles at Shinsou, cuddling into him. Then it's nice to meet you, Shinsou. You can be whoever you want, 'cause you'll always be my friend. Boy or girl. Shinsou smiles, pushing into Izuku more. He brings his hands up to his face to sign so Izuku could see him better. Call me Hitoshi. Hitoshi bounces on his heels excitedly. Midnight said she was bringing Eraserhead to meet him and Izuku after school today. He hoped the hero would be as cool as he thought he would be. Hitoshi, look! Izuku called, pointing at the light post nearby. Perched on it, like an owl, was the pro-hero Eraserhead. Hitoshi squealed in delight, clapping his hands before waving. The hero waved back, before using a scarf to swing onto the floor and walk towards the pair. Midnight walked out from a corner of the school that neither kid had ever noticed. Do you really need to make such an entrance? She scolds the hero, who smiles at her, flipping her the bird from behind his back where he thought the kids couldn't see. They bursted out giggling, trying to hide their smiles from Midnight, who glared at them. Eraserhead? Meet Izuku and Shinsou, she said, introducing them. Shinsou is a pretty big fan of yours. She even has your hoodie. Izuku glances over at Hitoshi, who thinks for a second before signing back. You can tell her. Izuku nods, turning back to the heroes. Actually, Hitoshi is a boy, Midnight. Izuku says seriously. He told me himself. Midnight gasps, nodding. I am so sorry, Shinsou. Thank you for telling me. Hitoshi nods, bouncing on his toes as he stares at Eraserhead with wide eyes. Hi, Shinsou, he says carefully, crouching down to match his height and removing his goggles. It's very nice to meet you. Hitoshi grins, lifting his hands up to sign, before pausing and turning to Izuku. Don't worry, Shinsou, Eraserhead says, lifting his hands, signing as he talks. I understand ASL. Hitoshi looks at him with wide eyes, bouncing even more on his heels. Oh my god. He signs frantically, making it hard for Izuku to even keep up with him. I wanted to meet you for so long. I saw you on one of those TVs in a shop window once, and Izuku told me all about you and your abilities. The fact that you fight without a quirk is so cool, and the way you fight with the scarf is amazing. He goes on and on, making the hero smile with his excitement. Eraserhead sits, fully on the floor, Midnight joining him soon after as they all try to keep track of what Hitoshi is murmuring. How do you get to be a hero? Didn't people think your quirk was scary? They think mine is too. What did you do? He pauses now, looking into Eraserhead's eyes. Eraserhead is quiet for a moment, before responding, letting his hands follow an ASL. I worked harder than anyone I've ever worked with before. I worked to prove them wrong. But more than that, I worked to save people. He keeps steady eye contact with Hitoshi, who nods himself. But what if you can't save them? Hitoshi asks slowly, thinking to Toga. What if they get lost or don't want to be safe? What if they die? Midnight looks away, swallowing loudly. Eraserhead sighs, running a hand through his hair. I won't lie, kid. You can't save them all. I've lost people I care about in this job. He pauses, looking towards Midnight, who smiles sadly at him. We all have. You just have to keep pushing. Save 50 more for everyone you can't. If we don't try, we won't succeed. Hitoshi nods as he listens carefully. Save others for them. He repeats back, making Eraserhead smile sadly. They talk for another hour before Midnight declares that they need to go back to work. Hitoshi nods, twisting his hands together slowly. Ask. Izuku signs to Hitoshi, who shakes his head. Hey, kid. Eraserhead says, smiling. Do you mind if I give you an autograph and a hug? Hitoshi squeals, running at him, and squeezing him tight. Eraserhead groans, hugging Hitoshi back as he barely catches the boy. When Hitoshi finally pulls away, he hands Hitoshi a picture of him in his full hero gear, with a big signature at the bottom. On the back is written, To my biggest fans. The heroes say their goodbye before Eraserhead swings away, making Midnight scoff, and run after him, using the nearby trash cans to get onto the roof and run faster. Was he as cool as you thought? Izuku asks, looking over at Hitoshi, who stared at the picture adoringly. Cooler. Hitoshi murmurs out loud, hugging it to his chest, making Izuku giggle. Normally, I would split up a chapter that's this long, but I'm trying to avoid splitting up any of these because I like to think that they're evenly spaced out so I wouldn't have to, cut them off. But we're starting to get to, I think, an area where your chapters are going to be longer. At least I think. Because chapter 18 seems to be a little bit past 20 minutes. And then chapter 19 is a little bit past 10 minutes. Wait, hold up. What? What about chapter 20? 14. Okay, it just seems like... Okay, never mind. It doesn't seem like you're gonna just accelerate. But anyways, I'm just gonna keep it long as this because I feel guilty that you guys had to go so long without videos. Before you guys say in the comments that I should have taken a break, we're just gonna... That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna be quiet. We're gonna respectfully keep our quiet. You know? Sometimes we keep thoughts to ourselves. No, but in all seriousness, I did really need that break. So while I'm recording on the 25th, you guys are not going to be seeing this until April 1st. Also, it wasn't till a friend pointed it out to me that returning on April 1st is absolutely hilarious, especially because they made me realize that some people might take it as I'm not actually returning on April 1st and it's gonna be like a prank pulled. But no, I'm actually not sure what I'm gonna do to like celebrate April 1st, or if I'm gonna do anything. I know last year I didn't do anything, but last year my significant other or friend of the time told me that they were gonna do like an April Fool's, type fic that they ended up podficking. And yes, I remember Sunny talking about it. I don't know if it was like on March or February. It was around there when they told me, I believe. I don't know. Times are weird for me sometimes. Anyways, if you heard this throughout any of the recording, just know it is hot as fuck in my room. It is not hot anywhere else in the house. It is literally just my room because for some reason my room is not properly insulated, I guess, or whatever. And then they ask why the freaking electric bill and gas bill is so fucking high. The reason being, excuse me, it's hot as fuck, and I don't think my room is properly insulated because the heat of outside goes inside. If it's 100 degrees outside, it is like 90 degrees in my room, while the rest of the house is at a comfortable 60 to 7 degrees. Make that make sense. Like, it is quite literally my room around certain times where it's no longer manageable. Like, do not get me wrong, when it's cold, I could manage it because I just put a bunch of layers on. And I'm complaining. But when it's hot, I just have to be constantly pouring, that thing on me. And it is not a problem either way, either or, but when it's recording, you can't tell the difference between me having a hoodie on, but you can't tell the difference when I'm hot, because you could hear just that. You hear that all the time. So I apologize, I'm not gonna rinse it out. I'm not gonna just re-record because I sprayed myself. And it's low enough where I don't think you guys are probably gonna notice it unless you're looking out for it. And those who do notice it, well, have that little tidbit. Anyways, apologies for being gone so long. I'm gonna try to not take a break at all anymore. Before you guys start eating at me, I'm gonna try to have a reservoir of videos, like save up backup videos that are pre-recorded. Right now I'm probably gonna have a week in advance, and I'm gonna try to make that be 2 weeks in advance, 3 weeks. My goal is to be at least 1 month ahead of schedule. That way, if something does happen and I need to take a break for whatever fucking reason, I could take a week break. I could take 2 week breaks, and I don't have to worry, right? 2 weeks, boom, set, done. I'm good. I still have 2 other weeks of reservoir, and I could slowly build up the reservoir again. So instead of worrying and being like, well, shit, now I have to rebuild it super fucking quick, it'd be like, okay, I'll just record 1 extra video a day instead of what I normally have to do. Like, for example, the following days, I'm gonna be doing a lot of, like, if I were to start posting tomorrow instead of the 1st, I would have to, instead of record 3 videos a day, which is my regular schedule, I would have to record 6 to 9 videos a day. And that goes from recording for 2 hours to recording 4 to 6 and even 8 hours, if I'm being honest, with certain videos and stuff like that. Like, this video itself took me about 40 minutes to record. Mainly because my voice was being bitchy, and my voice, I mean, like, my lisp was absolutely beating the fuck out of me. It was not being nice, guys. It was being mean, guys. It was being so mean, guys. It was bullying me, guys. I don't think you understand. It was absolutely bullying me. It was brutal. It was brutal, and I lost. I fucking lost. Anyways, but yeah, stuff like that where it just happens. Stuff happens. And instead of having to record, like, right now, today seems like it's gonna be a 2 to 3 hour day recording. Actually, no, 2 hours, because the second slot is not that long, and it's however long it is how long it took me to record, because I don't edit that one. I'm not editing that shit. If I edit that shit, that takes a 20-minute video, from being a 20-minute video to being a freaking hour video of having to do. I wish I was joking. Editing literally duplicates the time. And it doesn't seem that bad when it's like 20 minutes, because you're like, oh, that's just like a 40 to hour video. But when you record 1 hour videos, you're like, oh, well, that's just like 2 to 3 hours, because you realize how much it just duplicates it so much. Like 2 hours, you would think it'd just be a 4-hour video, right? 2 hours, it's 2 hours of editing. Nope, 2 hours means it's like 3 to 4 hours of editing. It's literally a hassle. It beats myself up. It hates me. Whatever. Point taken is, I'm glad to be back. I'm glad you guys are back, and I'm glad that the first video I'm recording back happens to be when Hitoshi finally gets this he, him pronouns. I am not gonna struggle. Ugh. I was struggling. I don't think you understand. I don't think you understand. Kitty cat. I don't think you understand. You understand. I'm gonna send a message right now in the Discord. Hold up. At Lemon. There you go. Finally, I am free. Hitoshi is a he. I hope it is Lemon. You are Lemon, right? I'm pretty sure you are Lemon. I sent the message, so if you aren't Lemon, this is gonna be so funny. Okay, I think it is. If it isn't, that's gonna be so embarrassing. I hope it is. I'm pretty sure it is. From my memory. You don't have the same username as the other one. I'm pretty sure you are. Hold up, I can check introductions. Did you make an introduction? Yes, it is probably you. It is you. I hope. Unless it isn't. Oh wait, hold up. Which general did what did I send it to you? Which video? Where did I send it? I just realized I may not have sent it in the proper channel. What channel did I send this in? Was it not in general? Was it in resources? Where did I send this? Where did I send this? Hold up, from user, from Echo Rainstorm. Yes, Echo Rainstorm. Where? No, not just this. Just overall videos. Where did I send it? What? Where did I send it? I can't find it. I can't find it. I'm going insane. Okay, it's not in Marvel. It's not in My Hero Academia. It's not in Ships. Where did I send it? Where did I send it? I'm gonna have to check every individual. Okay, general. I did not send it in general. I did not send it in resources. I didn't send it in roles, not introductions, not contraband TikToks, not life advice, not you can't sit with us, multi-voice maybe? No. Cover art? No. Editing? No. Can you hear me now? No. General questions? No. New to podficking? Nope. General jabber? No. Current hyperfixation? No. Shipping? No. My Hero Academia? No. Percy Jackson? That would be funny. No. Marvel? I already checked Marvel. DC? No one talks in DC. I'm gonna send the first message. Barry Allen is hot. But not the movie. The old shitty show with like 7 seasons. Anyways, here, no. Harry Potter, no one's talked in Harry Potter, and I'm not gonna say anything. The Stray Dogs, no. You gotta read this? No. Look what I did? No. Book Club? No. Writing Corner, did I accidentally send it in my area? No. Did I not send the message? Did the message not send? Am I going insane? I could have sworn I sent the message. Guys, I could have sworn I hit send. Guys, I think we're going insane. Okay, I'll send it again. Whatever. For some reason it didn't send. That was weird. At Kitty Cat or Lemon. Finally, Hitoshi is a he. I can rest in peace now. That is so weird. I just didn't send it. I sent it in Writing Corner! Oh my god. I'm deleting that. There you go. I changed it to general. That is my bad. Why? I checked Writing Corner. It wasn't there. I think I'm being gaslit. Wait, by Discord. Discord is gaslighting me. Anyways, that's enough. I need to record 2 more videos before I have to, what's it called? Go to sleep because I need to wake up early tomorrow. Anyways, that is weird. That is strange. As always, my raindrops, make sure to eat, sleep, drink water, take your meds. Have a wonderful day or night. Link to my Discord server and socials are down in the description. Subscribe to see more of my content, and thank you so much for watching.